Having a normal body is something a lot of people take for granted. Sure, there are probably things about your own form that you wish you could change, like wrinkles or cellulite, but overall, most of us don't have to worry about things like having to buy custom-fitted shirts to accommodate a third arm. But for other people, having a very different body is a daily reality. There are a surprising number of people that have been born with extra appendages. Before viewing them, be aware that some of these pictures are a bit hard to look at, but remember that many of these people have gone on to live healthy lives. They just go about it a bit differently than we do, so let's start the video. Deepak was born with extra limbs, including 2 very long legs, coming out of his chest. Some people in his village thought he was a devil, while others believed he was a reincarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu. But Deepak got to show everyone that he was just an ordinary little boy when a hospital in Bangalore offered to do the $78,000 surgery to remove the limbs for free. Now, he is free to live the rest of his life the way he always wanted to, and there are no extra limbs to get in his way. The presence of a tiny extra nipple isn't entirely unheard of. Celebrities Lily Allen and Mark Wahlberg are pretty proud of theirs, and many people don't even realize they have one because they look so much like moles. But one woman has outdone them all by growing a very large nipple, about 2 inches wide, on the sole of her foot. She says it doesn't cause her any pain or annoyance, but I can imagine it would be a pretty big surprise for her pedicurist. Having twins isn't normally a newsworthy occasion, but for a 24-year-old Florida woman, it definitely was. She didn't just give birth to 2 healthy babies at the same time, she did it with 2 uteruses. About 1 in 2,000 women has this condition, but the birth of her twins, Nathan and Natalie, is a 1 in 5 million scenario. For it to have occurred, she would have had to have released 2 eggs at once, both of which would have to be separately fertilized and implanted into separate uteruses. Then both fetuses would have had to have grown to completion in each individual uterus. Nathan and Natalie are both happy and healthy, and they'll always be known as a medical miracle. When Lakshmi was born, many people in her village believed she was a goddess. But the poor little girl couldn't walk, sit, or stand, and it looked like she would have to spend her life completely immobile. Recently, though, a team of doctors helped remove all of Lakshmi's extra limbs, which were actually the result of a parasitic twin that stopped developing in the womb. The girl still has a long road ahead of her. She has scoliosis and will need surgery to repair all the internal damage that was caused by the removal of the twin. But she's leading a much more normal life than she and her parents could have ever dared to hope for. A boy in China with 16 toes and 15 fingers underwent surgery in 2010 to have all the extra digits removed and is now living a normal life. 4 of the fingers on one of his hand and 3 fingers on the other had actually been fused together, but now the extra ones have been separated and removed. He was once bullied incessantly at school for his condition, but now it seems he will be able to live the life of a normal schoolboy. Ganga and Jamuna Mandal are conjoined twins who between them have 4 arms and 3 legs. They share a stomach, but have separate kidneys, livers, and hearts. They earned a living by performing in a circus. Now 45 years old, they recently found love with a teacher named Ahmad. Their boyfriend works part-time at the circus as a sound engineer. They're all aware that they make for an odd trio, but their love has truly conquered all. YouTube personality and model Cassandra Bankson received a surprise when she went to the doctor for a case of kidney pain. Her doctor told her that she actually had 2 vaginas, 2 cervices, and 2 wombs. He said the condition basically resembled an upturned nose, and that while she might have some trouble getting pregnant, There's no reason it should negatively affect her sex life. Even though Cassandra wasn't aware of her unusual body trait, she said it did explain why she frequently got 2 heavy periods a month. 6-year-old Alfie Clint has become the first person in the world to be discovered to have an extra strand of DNA. He was born blind and with disabilities, and the tests the doctors carried out revealed his extremely unusual condition. It's caused him to have multiple problems early on in his life, including a few instances where he stopped breathing completely, but nobody is sure how it will affect him later in life because his situation is unprecedented. A tiny baby born with an extra arm was able to have the limb successfully removed at a hospital in India. Doctors also revealed that the little girl had a club foot and was missing a kidney. Now that she has a better chance at a normal life, she will be undergoing therapy to help her use her good left arm and her club foot so she can grow up just like any other child. Everyone else on this list was born with their extra tissue. Stelia Zarpadio, now known as Stilurk, decided to get an extra part strictly for artistic reasons. The 69-year-old, who now lives in Melbourne, Australia, had an ear sculpted out of biocompatible material surgically attached to his arm, and intends to have a microphone installed in it which would broadcast what he was hearing to the internet, except if he went somewhere with no Wi-Fi. It was a pretty big step up from his other performance art, which involved putting cameras in his lungs or hanging himself from hooks.